Kerry Washington is doing a lot more besides acting on the set of Scandal. Plus, find out who was nominated for Outstanding Actress in a Drama Series. All that and more coming up on Shondaland Weekly.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Diva is a female version of a hustler.
Yo, I feel like I'm dancing more than y'all. Y'all like to
you
sing and
ain't
little
gonna
I'm giving that diva.
We tried to keep it cute
I'm keeping it Beyonce.
you by
Beyonce's
yourself
like,
on this side, but
if you like it, you should have put a ring on
if you
it.
want a dance battle, you can get one in here.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to Shondaland Weekly. I am Tori Broussard. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tori Broussard. Marie is not here with us tonight.
I know.
I miss her. She's on a plane, so shout out to her. Safe travels.
Yes, but she will be back.
She will be back next week.
Yeah.
My little emoji. But my fellow co-host, where can we find you guys?
Yes. What's up, everybody? Keith Andre here. I feel like it's been forever. I don't know why it feels like a
It's
long
only
time.
been a week.
Child, and a week is long enough. But you can follow me everywhere on social media at Keith_Andre.
You guys, I'm so ready for this Shonda news. What's up, you guys? I'm Lynneisha, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lynneisha, spelled Lanisha 914. You guys already know.
I'm pretty sure everybody else who's watching likes to do the
What?
Now,
The 914.
just like you.
Every
Like-
time. It's so signature.
It is signature. So signature. I deal with her every
Yeah.
single time. Every single time. Well, I am happy to announce that I did not provide the wine for tonight.
Oh my God.
Lynneisha, for the first time, guys, has brought the wine, but unfortunately, I am not drinking any. I'm a little under the weather, and my medicine will not allow me to drink it. So, Lynneisha, please.
But you guys know that means Tori has to drink double the next time, obviously.
Okay.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
But little does she know, I brought back a blast from the past because one of our viewers, shout out to Kat Harlem, said that Roscato is currently my favorite red wine. So I was thinking, you know what? When Tori brought it, that was my favorite too. So I had to bring it back. And for those of you guys that are just tuning in and didn't know, it has red berry, blackberry, all the berries of sweetness, you guys. Now, I'm not normally a red wine drinker, but like I said, it has the wineness of sweetness. That's why I brought it.
This is true. I'm
nice.
actually a fan.
So nice, we burned it back twice.
Okay, guys, you guys, I got this at Vaughn's, so y'all could get it at Vaughn's, Bevmo. Go
Well,
get you.
Let's start it out.
Okay,
per
thank
usual.
God it
Cheers.
is Monday.
Here I am. I feel so accustomed to it now. You know?
That's like our signature
It's like,
wine.
yes,
Well,
right.
I mean, I know what that tastes, but my water was pretty good.
I'm
It's very
glad you're
crisp.
enjoying
It
that.
went down very easily.
Nice.
It's very good for your body.
It is. It is. I know I've been drinking it for the past week straight.
I hope
So-
you feel better soon, though.
I do.
I do. So do I. But enough about me. Let's get into some Shondaland news.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Okay,
Let's break
so
it down.
I know. That makes me feel really like professional.
Don't you love it?
All right, so I don't know if you guys follow Kerry Washington on Instagram, but she's posted 3 photos that I've seen.
Yes.
One, she's dressed just like Olivia Pope.
Yep.
And the other one, she's wearing rollers.
Yep.
But both photos of her are clearly behind the scenes, next to a camera. If you read the caption, she's not only been acting in Scandal, she's been directing.
Yes.
She even posted one of the scripts
Yeah.
Yes.
that said directed by Kerry Washington.
Washington.
And I squealed.
Yes. It's like Olivia versus the people.
I can't wait to see that episode because if you've been watching Scandal, It's been getting
intense.
It's the cliffhangers.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
They're so good. And you know what? Maybe that's why it feels like it's been so long to me, just because, all of the shows are on, their winter break.
Yeah.
But I was super excited to see, first of all, I've been following Kerry Washington for a long time. I love her to death. I think she's super talented. So it's dope to see that because I don't know if she's directed but on Scandal before.
I don't know. I think
this is her.
Yeah, I think this is her first time.
I know a lot of other people have, so I'm excited that she's taking advantage of that opportunity. And just because it is the last season and we'll get to see like Kerry go back into like more acting roles. So it's nice to know that, she's got her foot in it. I'm excited to see what she does next, but I think this episode is going to be a good one.
She is most definitely a boss because honestly, she's not like a side character. All the characters are important, but she's the lead characters. She has a lot on her plate.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're directing, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Right. But I would like to know, how do you direct but still give the people what they want? You know what I mean? It's one thing to just be acting. It's another thing to be directing. That's two completely different perspectives.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool, but also very challenging on her part.
How do you switch in on and off?
Exactly.
Right, and just compartmentalize, especially because, like you said, I'm directing and I'm acting, but I'm directing and acting alongside people too.
Right,
so
exactly.
How do you juggle that to kind of make everything mesh well? But I'm sure
it might help her actually because her character, it's herself. She's the leader, she's the boss, she's taken over. Now she might have to calm herself down as being a director, not as intense as Olivia, but it kind of gives her that leadership. Hey, I'm a leadership as a director. I'm already learning all these roles. Maybe it might help me be a leader when I'm playing Olivia Pope.
I'm sure it will. And she has a production company as well.
She does.
We have to remember, she's a consummate professional. She's been doing this for years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her direct. And like I said, this episode, just coming off of what happened before the break with Scandal, is going to be... I don't even know.
That's all the words that came out.
I don't even know what to expect. We have to figure out if Quinn is dead. Like, I don't know.
Please. Okay. Let's dial in on that for a second.
Yes.
I'm just gonna take a vote. No explanations. Just a simple yes or no. Lanisha, what did I say?
Yes or no.
Keith, what did I say? Because y'all like to go on and on. We're not doing that right now. I want a yes and a no.
Yes.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Is Quinn Perkins dead?
No.
Well.
No.
He's gonna get.
Okay, I'm gonna
follow
go.
Instructions.
I'm going to go with my. I don't know if I
Yes
should
or
go.
no, Keith?
Okay. I'm gonna say yes then. I'm gonna say yes. It's the final season. Yes.
Yes.
Period.
Okay, we got a yes or no. Let us know in the
What
live
about
chat what
you?
you guys think. I don't think so. I don't think she can get away that easily.
You said
Sorry,
yes or no?
I sure did. I surely did. Moving on. Speaking of big accomplishments, we were just talking about Kerry is directing and acting on Scandal, but she, along with one of our others, Viola Davis, has been nominated by the NAACP Image Awards for Outstanding Actress in a Drama Series.
Yes.
How awesome is
Congratulations
that?
to them.
Super exciting. I think they both have been nominated several times before.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Has Kerry won in the past?
No, she hasn't.
never
Viola.
won.
But Viola Davis has
No,
one.
I knew Viola won,
Yes.
but I didn't know if before we got How to Get Away with Murder, if Kerry had won an Image Award. But maybe
Wait,
not.
an Image Award in general or for Scandal?
For Scandal.
For Scandal.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I do not think so.
I don't know. I mean, I'm excited they're both nominated. It's a super tough category. You
It
see
is.
them and all the other nominees.
I know.
So.
They made it definitely so hard to pick.
They
Right?
did. Obviously,
Yes.
Taraji P. Henson for Empire.
Exactly. It's
What's
gonna
her
be
name from
crazy.
Queen Sugar, who I love. I don't know. Do you guys watch Queen Sugar?
I do not.
Yeah, I got to get caught back up.
But I do watch my Empire.
You're talking about Rutina Wesley.
Yes.
Yes, she's good there.
And
then
Journey
yep, she
from
got
Underground, which
Underground.
I have not seen.
I
It's
heard
a really
Underground
good
is
show.
really good.
I am a fan of her.
It got
so.
canceled, but it's a really good show. I'm glad she got nominated, but I don't know who are you guys putting your money on? I'm going with Viola.
See,
I always
no,
gotta go.
I'm going with I was about to say Olivia Pope, Kerry Washington.
Really?
Just because I feel like she's worked really hard, and I feel like, it's her time. She deserves it. I love Viola Davis. The woman can act, for sure.
Okay.
But
you feel like it's time for Kerry.
Somebody else. It's time for Kerry.
This is Scandal's last time. I want Kerry to get an award for what she deserves, because honestly, the whole Scandal cast, great. Props to writing too, but that acting, bringing that script to life, each of their monologues, it's so well done.
Yeah, I think they've always had good monologues. For me, I think looking at it, from an actor or like from a creative perspective, I give the edge to Viola. And looking at Scandal, I think they have had trouble in the past. We know a couple seasons where, the audience, we kind of fell out with them and just trying to keep the story going. So I don't know if I feel that Kerry has had a moment in this past season that's been like deserving to me of an award.
I do, because her arc, she went from wanting the white hat to straight up, not just crazy, because anybody could play a crazy woman,
Viola Davis.
But this is all happening this season, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to see the awards. I'm rooting for them, support them. I think somebody's gonna win.
Right. I mean, if Jordan got it, great. Honestly, whoever gets the award,
it's deserved.
It is,
because
they all do
everyone that's
job.
Up there has deserved
and
to get to that spot.
And it's nice to see that they all are in a place where they're being recognized for their work ethic and their talent. So for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I can't wait to find out who wins.
So definitely be watching that.
But definitely kudos and shout outs to our very own Kerry Washington and Viola Davis.
Yes. And we'll see what happens. The awards come on Monday, January the 15th.
Yes.
So
we'll see. We'll see, Keith. We'll see.
And we'll let the people know. It's a Monday.
I'll be texting him being like,
CGI.
We will definitely be on the lookout. All right, on to Shonda tweets. We have some interesting tweets from Shonda, guys. I'm a little taken back by it, but okay.
Right. I think coming off of the off of the holiday season, we were kind of all coming together and trying to figure out what was going to be going on in the news, or what was Shonda talking about. So to see it was a little like, okay.
Right. So our first tweet was actually tweeted by Awkward Black Girl Twitter account. They tweeted a Blavity article with, I guess they retweeted it and then quoted Lord, I just literally lost my train of thought. Necessary. They just tweeted necessary with the article.
Right.
Shonda then retweets that. It says, very necessary, thank you. So I wanted to read the subtitle of this article before we get into it. It says, it's important that children are able to mold their identities with appreciation of diversity, of race, culture, and a variety of family dynamics. I just want to let y'all know I read that twice when I originally saw when I originally read the article, because I was like, okay, that is a lot. That is absolutely true. It made me think back to last week when
I was just thinking
Shonda was talking about, normalizing diversity, making diversity normal. And I thought, what a great start. Starting with the kids. Where else would you possibly start?
Exactly.
With something like this? And one thing that stood out to me, one of the co-founders said when they were brainstorming different categories, she said, who's populating these categories?
Yes.
And then she also said, not how many books are there about African American children,
right?
But how are they being represented?
Exactly.
And I was like, bingo. That's the whole point. You can have as many books as you want on African Americans, but if they are not being represented in the right way, especially in today's world and society, then what is the point?
And movies. I was going to say that's for books. It was great because I feel like that's how it is for movies as well, because really, let's think, what do we have? A lot of it is slavery.
Exactly.
To be honest. And a lot of it has to go back to African American history. And although it is important to know about it, honestly, other races, they got everything. We are more than just slavery. There is more to us. how are we portrayed in other ways besides that? How else do you guys see us?
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. And it's also important just to note that because there are, other genres of African American prose or literature out there that aren't, that we just don't have this mass exposure to, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. So it is important. It's just like the whole conversation when it comes to the entertainment industry and, Black or brown faces. Like, you always hear people talking about, oh, well, don't just want to be in front of the camera, want to be behind the camera because you're not we don't see as many people show up there. So it is important to note that they are there. It's just kind of, like you're saying, trying to find ways to like transfix ourselves and just changing the stories that we're telling and the stories that we are sharing and reading because they're there. But if we look at media today, just looking at, the way that we consume these outlets, you look at magazines that are, like dying off, like Teen Vogue is, just digital. So the way the world changes and just the way we consume content, it's like we keep getting these reminders of things that we need to do in order to like grow our space. But
Let's
it's just trying to find a way to really expand it and tell stories that people are going to be interested in because a lot of the times we are apt to go to those stories because it's familiar or it's current and you got to give other things a chance if you want it to be a bigger place. So I thought it was interesting and like it said just about starting from a child standpoint,
right?
Because if you don't start reading it, listen. If you ain't interested in reading by kindergarten, if you ain't interested in reading by about the 5th grade.
Okay, thank you. I was about to say kindergarten.
Right.
Were you interested in kindergarten?
Well, I was going to say like, K through 5. By about the 5th grade, if you still haven't developed like an interest in reading, like leisurely, then more likely than not, it's just something that you're not going to want to do and you're not going to want to get into. So we do have to like, get into it with the kids and give them stories and showcase other stories. I think now too, we do see a lot of different stories that are being told for like African American children or like minority children that are positive.
Yeah.
So it's important just, Christmas gifts, like that sort of thing to kind of continue to shed light on it so that we can find a way to expand.
Right. And it's like we said, this children's books. So just to give a little background on this article, Bates College in Maine and then the Institute of Museum and Library Services basically partnered to assemble the Diversity Book Finder, which is a database of 1,300 diverse picture books to provide kids with well-balanced options for their reading list. So like immigration or environmental issues, and then the LGBTQ rights. So remembering those topics, which are very broad and very detailed and can, have conversations go on forever, taking those topics and then pairing them for children. Mind you, they're picture books. What photos do you guys, what photos are you guys getting in your heads that are making you think, okay, this is appropriate for children? Because I know sometimes we try to kind of subdue certain things to children, say like, oh, well, they're not old enough, their minds aren't ready for that. They need to wait till they get a little bit older so that they can understand what's actually happening, what's going on, what that means. Where do you guys stand on that?
I do agree. Like, I feel like a kid should be able to understand it more. Everything in life and just general of adulthood, anything that's more grown, I feel like kids, they should be able to grow up a little bit, understand what's happening. So when the questions do come, they at least know something that's happening. The questions are going to come regardless. That's just, they're going to come regardless. But it would be better if like they had a better understanding of the world and everything.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to kind of balance or fine tune, but it is important because we can't say have these conversations about you want to diversify or normalize, but you still want to just limit it to the box or the way that you view the world. So you got to give kids more credit because they maneuver and they live in a world that is very diverse. They're likely to see, same-sex couples down the street or just all of these things that you want to control. But if it's in a book or if it's in an image or if it's on the TV, then you feel like it's too close for comfort. You want to still kind of control the space and still, keep it under the guise of I still want to normalize and diversify things. The only way to truly do that is to do it. So I think it is a balancing act. I wouldn't want children to be exposed to too much prematurely, but at the same time, in everyday life, they are exposed to circumstances and they take notice of things
Just
that
in
we don't
general.
even, make clear. Like being perfect example. So for me, like being in a relationship with a guy and having like younger siblings or nieces and nephews. Now it may be a situation where I'm not running around claiming or talking about having a boyfriend or this and that, but they still are going to see and interact and have their own perspective of it. So you can only shield and shape them so much. You can try it, but it doesn't mean that they don't see it or they're not impacted by it just as if they would if it was on TV or if it was in a book. It's only so much we can kind of try to protect them from. I think it's important to still like navigate that space because ultimately you want a child to be able to remain a child, but if you want them to have a different perspective and to grow up not seeing everything as negative or one-sided, then you got to be willing to take the chance on that type of exposure.
Absolutely. I think for me, it's just a matter of like what visuals can, they use for children, but still get their point across. I think, LGBTQ is a little, we see that a lot, but I think it's a lot easier to draw that versus immigration, environmental issues.
Right.
How do you?
They did do a little bit of that with like Disney and stuff. Like they did it with when they did like the Proud Family. They did an immigration episode.
Right, but it wasn't just pictures. That was TV. There was script.
So
there was, but we're just dealing
solely
with pictures.
from a book, like a picture book.
But I'm
for
saying
children.
like kids in general, like with stuff like that. That's just racism. Let's just say the word racism. There are kids that deal with it.
Right. I mean, to your point, I think, to Tori's point, I definitely get it. I think it's just trying to find a balance because we get that these things going on in the world. But if I'm just an illustrator and I want to do a picture book for children and I want to address immigration or environmental issues, what does that look like? Without voices, without sound, without characters? How do I show them? How do they learn this?
Got you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, I think this is a great start. We definitely need this. I'm interested to see
how they portray it.
Really, I might go.
Absolutely.
Face myself just to see what's out there. But moving on, we have a Shonda quote.
Yes.
Lynneisha, would you like to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Let's see.
Somebody read it.
I'll read it. I just know. Since this came from Lynneisha is the one that found this, I figured she might want to read it because when I read it, you don't want to know my first thoughts. Okay, so her quote, "At some point you have to make a decision. Boundaries don't keep other people out. They fence you in. Life is messy. That's how we're made. So you can waste your lives drawing lines, or you can live your life crossing them." Keith,
why do you make a thank face?
Because I feel like maybe I'm not quite understanding what she's saying, or maybe I don't want to accept what she's saying, or maybe she's the wrong way. I don't know.
Maybe we're portraying it differently.
That's why I'm like, what do you guys
maybe
think?
we're missing the reference because to me too, I don't know what she's referencing here, but I feel that boundaries are an important part of life as well. I feel
exactly.
It's different. It's different things. And I just heard, like, I went to church and they were preaching about boundaries, which is interesting. But there is a time to make boundaries. There is a time to respect boundaries, and there is a time to break the boundary and to get through it. So just to put something out like that and just say that you should just live life, balls to the walls and, doing what you want and, breaking boundaries, I don't think that that's probably the best advice in the world.
I didn't think too much of that.
Keith, I agree with you. I agree. So
Shonda, I got your back, okay? I'm thinking of as just a creator in general, like just creativity just in general.
Okay.
I'm thinking about how people always follow the rules to get to where they need to be, when sometimes you do need to, some people, they bend the rules. A lot of the most successful people, they bend the rules and they're very creative with it to get to where they need to be. So she's not saying like all the time break the rules. sometimes you just need to think outside of the box.
Well,
Sometimes you
she
just need to
didn't
break
say
the
sometimes. And you just making our point because you said sometimes. I mean, I agree for sure, but I think I don't know. I think when you're a role model, when you have this voice, when you have a platform, it is important to kind of, monitor or just, look at the impact of what you put out. Yeah, it needs to be super duper clear.
It's a quote. We don't need to get all detailed into it.
Well, that's the point I'm making. It is a quote. And so I get if you're speaking to a creative, but at the same time, and shout out to just one church LA, because I went there and this was the word, but Sarah Jakes Roberts, she was just saying, if you want to change like a culture, you have to respect it first. So to be a creative, I get it. You got ideas, you want to go and you want to break boundaries, but it is important to make sure you're doing it at the right point. You got to respect the situation. You got to get your feet wet. You got to do what you need to do and then try to cross the line. Because if you just coming out here trying to break boundaries, also you can put yourself in a position to not work because you're doing the most and now nobody wants to deal with you.
Exactly. And to even follow up on that, not all of Shonda's fans are creatives.
True.
Right.
So it's like, okay, when you do make a statement or a quote, you can't just think about the people who are following you because they are a creative, because you are creative, but think about all of the people. So those people who tune in just because they are a fan of your show. They would never want to write, direct, act, or anything. They just think you have a good show.
Well, think about also in just dreaming perspective, not saying creative, just dreamers that say they have a dream, they want to be so-and-so, but their parents tell them to be this. Do you follow what your parents say and stay in the box? That's the safe career path. Or are you going to break the rules a little bit, step outside of the line, and go for the career path that you want to go to?
But are you breaking the rules or crossing the line when you're doing something that's placed in your heart?
Hey, it's their rules.
That's
you
a
are
good
breaking
question.
the rules.
But is that a rule?
And even if that's the case, you're going to do it when you know to do it.
True.
True.
I'm not at 16 years old. My advice to you wouldn't be just, I want to, whatever I want to dream up, I'm going to just go after it and leave home. My family thinks I should go to school or go to college or get a degree, but I'm not going to do this because I've got this great big old dream and I need to follow it instinctively. No, I don't think that that's the best advice. I think that you should follow your dreams, follow your passion, follow your purpose, but you need to navigate it in a way that is still going to, that you can still live in the world.
And that
What if
also
the navigating involves you stepping out of your
Well,
shell?
I was going to say,
okay.
based off what he said, that's when boundaries come in.
Right.
Because as you get older, as you pursue your dreams, and as you become an adult in society, your parents take on a different role than when you were a kid.
For sure.
So there is that point in time where you have to understand your boundaries as far as relationships and what your child wants to do or whatever with your parents versus, when you're coming up in their house.
Yeah.
True.
Can I say something real quick? So this is an interesting quote because I think it can be interpreted in many different ways depending on where you're coming from. Because I got something somewhat different from I think all of yours.
Oh, okay.
Mine, the way I read it was it's about being open with your mind. Because once you're closed-minded, you get stuck in your certain ways of thinking in a certain way. Right. And that's never I don't think that's a good thing. I think as people, we must grow every year. And so when it says you can't waste you can't waste your lives drawing the lines, that's kind of like mental lines, as in opinions that you just put yourself in a hole and you're never able to get out of that same opinion. For instance, just to keep an example, just like the say Trump supporters, at first thought your mind is to close them off, but to really see where they're coming from and then have them listen to where you're coming from, you have to let them in a sense where you have to be able to see where they're coming from, go into their perspective of mind, be open to what they're thinking, and be okay, I get what you're saying, but look at my perspective as well. And you have to, in a sense, you have to assume that they will take in your perspective as well. But it all starts with being open with your mind and don't get boxed in. Like I says, they fence you in a sense. Those thoughts fence you into a certain way that you live your lifestyle and how you affect everyone around you that perceives those opinions that come out from you. So that's how I got it.
Okay.
You took it to a whole other level.
I like his.
Okay, Anthony, that was our engineer.
I was thinking about it, just creativity, but like I like your version.
I
better.
know. Okay, let's go with that one.
We're gonna go with
Shout
that.
out to Anthony.
Follow
Thank
your
you.
dreams. Don't
Holding
stay
it
inside the
down.
box. Be like Taco Bell and get steak outside the box.
Oh my gosh.
God. Okay. On that note.
That's
Well,
Lynneisha on
yes.
corny lines.
Time to liven up just a little bit. Thank you, Anthony. But moving on to Shonda Rhimes.
Yes.
Now, last week I came with the playlist.
Yep.
You guys like our new theme song?
Okay. Yeah.
I came with the playlist last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, my co-hosts were a little taken away. They weren't expecting any of that.
She did her thing.
I'm actually gonna pat myself on the shoulder.
You should.
I was
Oh.
like,
Shoulders.
whoa.
I'm happy about it.
Because I was like, okay, like we got a little bit of variety. It didn't just come from one show. But then Keith sent his playlist to us.
He came on with the come on.
What can I say?
He is in charge of the playlist this week, and honestly, I'm excited for you guys to hear it.
Yes.
But I think he might be giving me a run for my money.
You know, what can I say? These girls did not think that I was going to come through. In the text messages, they were very much trying to remind me, don't forget the playlist. So I did my good homework, and I went through and I found the playlist for this week. So I used Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder because those are the shows that I watch. And it was interesting to see kind of the playlist because they are a little bit different between the shows. So I just kind of went through this season and found like my favorite songs from different episodes. So for Scandal, season 7, starting off is a classic Stevie Wonder, All in Love is Fair. Can't go wrong with that. This was in the very first episode of the season. It was titled Watch Me 100 Days into Millie's Presidency. Of course, Olivia is doing her thing. But of course, she has to deal with the whole fit situation. And so the song was definitely appropriate.
I was just about to say, it was definitely appropriate for this scene.
Exactly.
It's a
It
little...
all makes me think of like a whole rain scene. Like, you know how you're just standing in the rain and then you look back at the person.
It's so dramatic. Like
it's very dramatic, and I'm just like, okay.
It's so dramatic.
It's not, that's not uplifting whatsoever. But it was perfect for the scene.
It's not,
Absolutely.
and it's a beautiful song. I really like that song. I've known it's like a jazz standard. Stevie Wonder did a cover, so that was one. And then. Or what I want to say about Scandal with the songs, they all tend to be like soulful, a bit familiar, kind of popular.
Most definitely.
So right into episode 2, they gave us Salt and Pepper's Push It real good. Episode 2 was titled Pressuring the Flesh. So this was when Millie was president. She was hosting the dinner with President Rashad, who she wanted to get with on the low.
I saw that.
The
coming.
shade.
I was like, just sleep with him already.
The shade.
Olivia was putting Jake to work with, the whole B613.
She was putting him to work.
Right? And then we saw like Quinn and them, they came to the party trying to find a client. So that was a good episode. And this is a good song. You can't go wrong with it.
Okay, she was ready to get it.
They were all pushing it, to be honest. Every
So
single one of them.
It was so fitting. And then the third song I picked from Scandal was TLC Waterfalls made its debut in episode 4.
Y'all, please, I did not come on the show today to cry.
Listen, well, episode 4 was the one titled Lost Girls, where they had like all of the girls who were missing. They were trying to find a plan to get Olivia back to her white hat moment. Didn't work.
I remember this. Yes.
Didn't work, but they had a bunch of good moments, and with Quinn taking that case and them trying to find the girl. And then they had like the bomb situation with President Rashad. He was there for a while. I was sad to see what happened to them, but that's definitely a familiar song.
I was like, dang, Olivia.
Yeah,
She's
Olivia's not playing.
She's
She had to blow both
She
them.
is not playing around.
She's such a different person, but we'll see how that goes when it comes back in January.
Okay.
And then, so How to Get Away with Murder, which I love. I think the acting, like, is super drama, it's super impactful. But looking at the playlist for How to Get Away with Murder is super different because the music, it helps, but it's more suspenseful. It's much more showing of like the moment of like the thriller impact of the show, whereas Scandal is just into like your feelings and emotions. So How to Get Away with Murder, episode 3, they gave us a popular song, J Balvin and Willie William Mi Gente. They didn't give us the one with Beyonce, but they gave us the Mi Gente, which everybody loves. Like I said,
dance to this in Zumba.
Okay.
Oh, it's a good one. But this was in episode 3.
This is different from a lot of How to Get Away with Murder
Exactly.
songs.
That's why I picked one, because this isn't one that's normal. But episode 3 was It's for the Greater Good. Annalise was taking on her case, realizing the stakes were super high. You had Laura and Michaela trying to figure out what's going on with Wes's death, and then Connor. So it felt good.
It's definitely different because all her other ones are very like dark, like
exactly. This was like the lightest one. I went through all the episodes for the season to kind of find a feel good song. And
Watch
this was,
me doing. I'm gonna get them all depressed.
This was the lightest one I could find. But so the second song for How to Get Away with Murder was a song called it's called Lion by an artist named Saint Mesa.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
That's why I picked it, because when I heard it, I was like, oh, well, this is kind of a good song. A lot of the songs, you just have to give them a chance and you can kind of get into it. But they gave us this one in episode...
Yes, that's the one.
Right, this is the one that you were really
this episode, so
I was like, where is this song? Like, I was looking for this.
Yeah, you couldn't find it. But episode 5, Bonnie was super suspicious of Annalise and her big case, because, you know, Annalise was trying to do her big case. We had the flashbacks revealing their longtime feud, because you know Bonnie was saying that she loved Annalise, so we got to see like how they started up on like opposite sides and just that whole situation. So I thought that was
an intense scene.
Was a lot, and that episode was titled "I Love Her."
I love her. He's like, say it again because you don't want to kill her.
Like,
so you love
it
her.
It was a lot, but that gave us like super dark feels. And then my last pick for How to Get Away with Murder was the episode 8, which we just saw, Moses Sumney Doomed. This was the episode that
and say what you can without giving it away.
I'm not going to give it away, but this is the episode titled Live, Live, Live. So we had Annalise with all this. This is where we've been seeing all these flashbacks up until this point to figure out what's going on with them. So in this episode, we got to see why we were seeing flashes of somebody who may be dead, somebody like in the elevator. So I just was like, the song just took me right into like this super like somber you gotta see it.
You know,
it was very graphic, and I did like shed a tear.
It was a lot.
You shed a tear?
I shed a tear, guys.
I didn't cry, but it was intense. It was a lot, and the graphic
they kept warning
aspect
us.
of it, but that aspect of it just took you in. It was a lot, and this is another reason why I think Viola's gonna win this award, because
now you're gonna make me catch up.
Gonna be like
as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm over here trying not to tell it for her, and she don't even watch the show.
Okay. Correction.
No, but we trying to convince her to.
I watched the show. Yeah. I am behind. I am not the biggest fan.
Well,
but we gonna make her the biggest fan, because this episode was y'all.
I mean, honestly, just listening to that playlist makes me like, I was getting chill, so
it was really good.
I might go catch up sooner than later.
It was like each commercial break and everything, they kept saying graphic. And I was like,
oh, I watched
How to Get Away with Murder is always graphic, but I didn't realize how
graphic.
It
was extreme, but that's my playlist. I don't know what we'll do for the next couple weeks, just because the show is, off for the holidays. But I felt that, I did my thing creating a playlist.
You did?
So,
okay.
You got me a little bit scared. I'm just saying.
Give you, okay. Keith coming with the playlist.
A little bit of,
that's it. Okay. We can move. We got much time.
Okay, I like that. Well, I like that you ended with How to Get Away with Murder because our What Would You Do stems from that show. So in the winter finale,
wait, we need our theme song.
Oh yeah, for What Would You Do?
Yes, what would you do?
Okay, now give it to us.
Okay, so Michaela gave Laurel an option to flee the crime scene. She did.
Yes.
So my question is, if you and your friends committed a crime and you had the option to leave, but they had to take the fall, what would you do?
What would you do? Well, you know me. I feel like I do a really good job of choosing my friends. I have really good interpersonal relationships, and all my friends or the people in my circle are
right. Can we get that Jeopardy song up again?
The people in my circle are ride or dies. Therefore, if I'm the person that needs to leave, I'ma leave. And if I feel that somebody else should leave, then that's the best decision. Because watching the episode, I feel like they made it collectively because it was the only way to kind of make sense of it and to get out of it. Granted, let's just be clear, in this quote unquote crime, nobody did anything. It was an accident.
Yeah,
so
he tripped.
That's a little bit a little bit different. Yeah. Now, if I'm rolling with Lynneisha and Tori and you did it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because if you put me on the stand, I'm not here to perjure myself for nobody. But in this situation, I trust, I really trust the people in my core circle. I feel like we're gonna make the best decision to kind of get out of it.
You know what? Then I'm gonna plot against you and be like,
that was it. Oh wow. Okay, I see where you stand, Lynneisha. Quickly give us your answer.
A yes or a no. Let's see. I mean, with Laurel's situation, she was pregnant, but this is just in general if I committed a crime scene. If I'm the one that came up with the crime scene, I'm kind of a ride or die. But I'm going to suggest with y'all for all of us to leave the crime scene.
That was impossible.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It's going to be a suggestion. Y'all all leave with me.
And then we all go to jail. Tori, what would you do? Because we don't have time to go back and forth.
Y'all can leave. We can sneak out.
We are all in this together. Nobody is leaving. It's just like if my friend got in a fight, I didn't start the fight. She didn't start the fight, but she in the fight. We're both gonna fight because I'm not just about to leave you here to
So both of y'all going to jail.
Laurel was the one that
both of us going to
came up with the whole plan. Like if I came up with the plan, I'm sticking with y'all.
But it made sense. I'm gonna just say this: y'all heard it first. Lanisha's going to jail because she wants everybody to leave. Tori's going to jail because she wants everybody to stay. I'm doing what's gonna make sense to keep us out of jail. But we do want to know
because technically you're like what's keeping y'all safe.
Anyways,
y'all, that's a pack.
We do want to know what would you do. I really want to hear what people would do in this situation because it's kind of realistic a little bit.
It is a little realistic. So I think mine was the best answer, but okay.
You going to jail if you're put into a situation. If you're put into a situation where cops or the authorities are involved and things go awry, what would you do? Is somebody leaving? Like, how do we get out of this?
Please let us know what you think. You can tweet us, you can let us know in the live chat, or you can even DM us on Instagram. Lynneisha always holds our Instagram account down. So thank you guys for tuning in. This was fun. We missed Elle Marie. She will be back next Monday. Until then, I'm Tori Broussard. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tori_Broussard.
Yes, and I am Keith Andre. Follow me all over social media at Keith_Andre. And check me out Tuesday night at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. AfterBuzz TV.
Show.
This is us. It's so many of them, y'all. I get it twisted. But 11 p.m. 10 o'clock p.m. This is us. This is us after show before we go on break.
Elle Marie, we miss you, and I can't wait to hear your answers. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lanisha, spelled Lanisha 914. Okay, don't forget.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.